Hey, what's poppin'? It's your boy DK, aka every other name. Um, what's going on? I hope everybody's feeling good today. I'm feeling pretty good. I just want to start off in a prayer. Say, dear Lord Jesus, dear Father in heaven, thank you so much for working in my life, taking all of my iniquity and cleansing me of it, freeing me of it. Now I'm a free man. Now I can be perfect in your eyes. And no matter what anybody else says, that will be true unto me from you. Me and you, we can see eye to eye completely now. And I just want to thank you for that, Jesus. Thank you for that, Father. You have freed me. I am free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. And it feels great. This morning, the devil tried to tempt me with just like the idea of smoking. Just the idea, and like it was instantly crushed. Like there is nothing left inside me that wants to smoke. Nothing. I don't want to smoke anymore. There's nothing inside me that wants to smoke, and it is a true blessing because I struggled bad. All 5 months that I've lived here in Nashville, I was like trying to quit, trying so hard. And you know what? God said, David, son, give it to me. Give me the smoking. Oops. Clean it up. He said, give it to me, David. It's not your battle. It's mine. I'm like, what? So eventually, I struggled trying to quit myself. And when I tried myself, which I was battling the spirit of death. The spirit of death was knocking at my door every morning. I was battling him, and together, because I gave it to God, and I said, God, I need a miracle. I need you to do this for me. He just went, he whooshed out a miracle over me. And then one day, I just decided I didn't want to smoke anymore, and I just quit, and I just kind of forgot about it. And like, out of all things, and that's what happened with Adderall too. Eventually, I just didn't want to. And I gotta say, a big part of it was you, babe. The motivation to be with you and know who I've gotta be to be with you really pushed me, because I'm so deeply in love with you. And that really motivated me to do it too. And there's a million things, just the condition of the world itself is a huge part of it. I love the world we live in. I don't love it more than heaven and the Father. Absolutely not. But the people, I love you all. I love you all very much. And in order for me to be able to help everybody, I had to help myself out, and I had to quit that. I can't just be carrying the spirit of death around with me and expect to save people and heal them, which it did work. I've healed people of cancer, or a girl who had ovarian cancer, while I was high on meth. We prayed it away, and it went away. There's multiple things, multiple instances where I did heal while on that, but it doesn't work as good and the same. It was random, and it wasn't pure and instant and automatic like it is now. I'm telling you, if you need healing, come let me put these hands on you. Let me put them on you. I promise I can heal you. I promise. If you want healing and you have faith that I can do it through the power of God Almighty, then come unto me. I will heal you. I can heal you of any sickness, anything on earth. I can raise the dead. I can let the blind see again. I can let the lame walk again. I can do everything again. The power is here. And I believe in it. And I have full faith. So put me to the test, God. Put it to the test. Let's start putting it to the test. We'll see next weekend. So, let's see. Anyways, wow, that's really awesome. So finally settled that in my brain, because like I was struggling with that, like, why isn't it always working? Why? And it's only because I wasn't letting it. I wasn't allowing my faith to be that strong. So yeah, I gotta keep building up that power inside me. So let's see if you can see it. No, probably not when it's backwards. Yeah, actually you kind of can. See how you get the Y and then an A on my hands? See that? And then it gets the A, then the Y, and then the W in the middle. You know what that means? Yahweh. It's pretty sweet, huh? So, all right, here we go. So I started to really get into my times with my ex-wife, Amber. Yeah. And I tell you what, we got together January of 2018, and we split up in November of 2020. Right? Yeah. So within that time, basically this is what we did. We would go and we'd be parents on the weekend, take care of our kids. We took care of our kids well. We protected them. We both love our kids and each other's kids. But I'm not sure. I don't know how much she truly loved my kids, Cash and Alina, because of she's jealous that I was so tight with them, and she would always find anything they did to be so wrong, and she's a really, really mean person, and would cuss them out and would cuss me out to go cuss them out and stuff. And it was bad. My kid, but me and my kids, we still appreciated the fact that we had, now we had a home, or we had a house, not a home. And deep down my kids were sad, but our personalities were so happy and loving that we always, found a way to make the best of it. And Ty and Lainey, y'all helped us a lot too. And yeah. Like, do you guys remember, Ty, do you remember when me and you, when your mom came home super wasted and was treating me like complete crap? And she was, and then Cash wanted a thing off the Pizza Pizzazz, like, and it was still spinning, and she freaked out because it was still hot, but she just wanted something to bitch about. And she was treating us all like crap then all of a sudden. And then we went upstairs, and us four, me, you, Cash, and Alina, we all sat in a circle. Because she wouldn't act like that way in front of Lainey. Because Lainey's her little princess, you know. And so, yeah, I'm sorry, Ty. I'm sure you've seen such horrible things. You did with us, so I can't, and it's been your whole life. I'm sorry, buddy. But it was a really beautiful situation because we all went upstairs and we were like hiding from your mom. And she was downstairs just with her friends and being all crazy, and we all went upstairs and we all got in a circle and we all held hands and prayed together. We were all four in tears crying together, praying in the name of Jesus, and we all hugged at the end and stuff. That was one of the most beautiful moments that we all had together, us four. And that was a really good moment, despite how scared we were of the crazy person downstairs. And yeah, that was crazy. So basically, me and Amber, we would do that. We would hang out we would have our kids on the weekends, and then we would have basically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday free. And a lot of the times on the weekends, I would stay home with the kids, and Amber would just leave. You would just leave and go get drunk down at the bullpen and stuff. Go get wasted. You'd find an excuse to go do that. You'd take my pills every month. That was the thing. Amber, every time I got my script, then it became a thing where she controlled the pills because she had to have some too. Freaking weirdo. And even when she went and got her own prescription, she still had to control it all. Control. That was her thing. And that was her thing. And but I mean, it still was a blessing in the end because it just made me grow a hate for the pills, you know, like, and eventually that's a big part of the reason I quit, you know, how much drama it caused in my life. Okay. And so what we did was if we didn't have kids, then we were usually at the casino. And no matter what job I worked, it was always my money we go to the casino with. And I don't really care about money that much. So like, it was always just like, whatever, I don't care. As long as we have our bills paid, I didn't really care what we did with it. And but it was always a fight over Adderall pills and over weed because she didn't want me smoking weed because I acted so stupid. And that's another thing. In the end, really, you made me feel different about smoking weed. I used to always smoke weed. I was so accustomed to it. Such a pothead. And but then when I was with you, I was always scared and I couldn't like sneak it because you can tell when someone smokes weed. You can't really hide it. The smell and just the way they act. And with you, I was deathly scared that I was going to get my ass beat for smoking weed. But I still, like, inside of me, I hated the fact that I couldn't do something because you told me I couldn't. Yeah. So anyways, we got engaged right away when it was still pretty good and things weren't that crazy. So that's kind of how that happened. Um, it was a good week we were having, and we decided to do that. So, so, big mistake. But, so, when we would go to the casino, and she would always, like, I don't know how many nights we would come up completely out of money, have, like, barely have enough to buy a pack of cigarettes when we left, and we wouldn't even have gas to make it home sometimes. It was just horrible. And I was just kind of like always the tag along in the situation. I didn't control any of that shit. You did. So you can't even blame it on me. It was always you who decided whether it was going to be cool. And like some nights we came out on top. We'd walk out with thousands of bucks. And it'd be cool, but rarely, because it's all about vibes at the casino, if you believe. Once I started going by myself, that's when I started winning all the time, because I believed that I could win. When I was with you, I didn't believe in anything except for God and Jesus, and that he was going to vindicate me through the whole situation. So yeah, we would leave the casinos. Like some nights we would go to all three casinos in the area: Riverside, Isle of Capri, and Jumer's. And more times than not, we would leave empty-handed. And here I'm gonna tell this story just so the truth can come out. Because you'll never tell the truth, and it does reflect me, and I apologize if this, makes anybody like upset with me or anything, in any way, but I'm just gonna tell the truth of it. So, yeah, I got almost to prove, that this was a normal thing that happened. So one night, we're at Riverside Casino. My kids were with my mom, and my mom just started watching them again, and she gave us a time that she wanted us to come get them by. And I was actually trying to like stick to the plan that night. And then God, right before, like we were like really low on money, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like just dead in spirit. And then God, boom, he's like, here you go. It's $500, or maybe, I don't know. I call it God because it's all chance, or it's all like luck. And I don't know if God really works in a casino, but he did when I prayed in tongues over machines and won. So, because God can do anything. God can go anywhere and do anything. God's in control of everything, like the devil controls how you feel and the vibes you have, and how and he'll do anything to bring you down. But I've met up with God several times, and even in a casino, he's everywhere, so he can come to you any place. But yeah, so we won $500, and we were about to leave, and then Amber starts to get drunk. She's like, oh, and so she goes, and the thing with her was she always had her own prescription of Xanax that I just didn't really even mess with, because at that point she made me definitely want to quit taking Xanax too, because she was so crazy, and we would have killed each other for sure. And I quit taking Xanax. I struggled to keep taking Adderall because that was my drug of choice, but still I gave it up. And basically, That was our whole relationship, was her controlling pills, holding them over my head. Like when I had to go to work in the morning, and I'm like, in my head, I really thought that I needed these things. And if they were there, I was going to take them. But, that night at the casino, that we won like $500, and then she sits down and at this one machine, I'm like, we gotta go, come on, we're up. She doesn't listen, and she sits down at the machine, and it's called Black Widow. And it's like the theme of it is like some harlot, or like, slutty mistress type thing of this slot machine. And I'm just looking down at who's sitting at it, and I'm just like connecting the two. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I knew for a long time, I knew that she was a horrible person. But it's deep inside me, I really thought that I could save her. With tender love and care. But no, not until after we were split up is that going to even have chances of. Because she hated me. That evil that lived inside her hated me. Hated the goodness in me. And wanted to watch me fail. She wanted me to fail. So that night, she sits down at the Black Widow machine, and she starts pressing that button. She starts betting it all. And then she brings her money down to like $100, and then she goes up 300 and then back down. And she ends up losing it all. Like normal, like a dirt. Because that's what she is in the casino. And basically everywhere else. And she, oh great. Yeah, I'm telling the story. I'm telling it. There's no holding back with me. And I hope you can understand. So we're leaving. I'm driving because she's wasted. Of course. And when we're leaving, I'm just silent because I'm pissed. Like, we had the money and we had the opportunity to make it, to get my kids on time. And she didn't care about any of that. She just sat at that machine. And it's not like she even gave me half the money to go try, hold on to or anything. Nope. She sat there and blew it all. And because she knew I wanted to leave. Because that's what she does. And, so we're leaving, and I was like, okay. I thought to myself, I'm going to give her silent treatment. See how that works. Because anything I say, I end up getting busted in the mouth for. All the time. So I'm giving her silent treatment, and I'm just quiet. And she's like, what's your problem? And I'm like, and she's like, talk. And because she could tell she don't like that. She's like, stop at the gas station. So as we left the casino, I stopped at the gas station. She goes in, and she goes and gets another shot. She goes and gets a shot of Fireball. And she's pissed. She feels convicted for what she had just done already. So she goes and tops it off with another shot of Fireball. And then she gets in the car. She's just really bad then. And she's like, what is your problem? And I finally spoke up. And I'm like, well, you just blew all the money that God gave us back the money. And we were sitting pretty, and we could have made it on time. And I actually want to make it on time. And she just goes off in this, and she's like, starts talking about how I'm in love with my mom, because I was like, dude, we were supposed to be there to my mom, we were supposed to be there and get my kids, and none of that mattered to her ever. And she went off and started saying, I'm in love with my mom, and then I want to go F my mom. And that was like, can you imagine your fiance is telling you you want to go F your mom? That was the grossest, weirdest, most horrible feeling that I had. I'm like, why is she saying this? Like, what in the fuck is wrong with her? And so I just look at her and then I turn back and I'm like, you're wicked. And I'm driving. And something about that, when I called her wicked, she couldn't stand. And it set her off. And at this point, I'm getting onto Avenue of the Saints, which is the road all the way from Iowa City that brings you almost all the way down to Nashville. It does. It brings you all the way to St. Louis, and then I don't know if it's still called that, but I still call it Avenue of the Saints all the way down. It's awesome. But we were heading back from Riverside up to Iowa City on Avenue of the Saints, and I'm getting onto the interstate, and I'm like, you're wicked. And something about that just sets her off even worse. And she just backhanding me while I'm driving. Entering onto an interstate. She's backhanding me while I'm driving. And I gotta admit, I couldn't help. Like, I'm trying to drive. She just told me to go F my mom. It's just so disgusting. Like, who says stuff like that? And I'm trying to get her off me, so I go, whap! And this bone right here hit her in the front tooth. And instantly Amber starts going, and I'm like, shut up, you're fine. You just hit me like 4 times. Be quiet. It was like, you're fine. And then she opened her mouth and just, a waterfall blood came out. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm about to get sick. And when the waterfall blood came out, it looked like 4 of her teeth fell out. Nope. It was just one big front tooth. It completely broke her. I don't know. I was so upset with what she said. I'm like so appalled, so stunned that she's hitting me while I'm getting onto the interstate, and I just lost it for a second and go whap. And it knocked the front tooth out of her mouth. And so we get to the next exit and I'm freaking out. I pull into Casey's gas station, and I'm about to get out and run. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, cause I'm like, I'm going to jail for sure. Here we go, I'm going to jail. And sickly enough, I think Amber's like, no, chill, you're fine. I think deep down she kind of knew, like she knew that she deserved it, in the sense that, like, of what she was saying to me. And that doesn't give me grounds to hit anybody. I'm not saying that. Nor does it. No, but she was hitting me first, and it was really like a self-defense thing, where I'm just like, get off. I'm driving. I'm trying to keep us alive here, entering the interstate. There was a semi coming right there, you know? So I'm about to get out and run at the next exit at Hills. And she's like, no. And she gets in her purse, and we have her tooth, and it was just one tooth. It was like this big. I didn't realize the root of a tooth was that big, especially one of these. And so I think that we're gonna go and get like I'm gonna go to jail. That's what I'm thinking. She's like, no. So my mom calls because she's wondering where we're at, and I answer, and I told her what happened. I'm like, I just knocked Amber's front tooth out of her mouth, and my mom's like, oh my gosh. She's like, do you guys have any milk? My mom asked. And Amber's actually like hysterical laughing at this point. Like it hurt her so bad, but then she got in her purse, grabs a handful of Xanax and eats them. And she's like wasted already. And she just can't believe it. It was like she like almost like respected me for sticking up for myself and defending myself. I still felt like really bad. And I'm just like, oh my God, why did I like, oh God, help me. And I'm just like, right, I'm gonna go to jail. And Mom's like, do you have any milk? And I remember we both like, Amber's just laughing with the, like her whole situation over there, laughing, thinking that's hilarious. And I'm like, no, Mom, we don't have any milk. What's up? And I was like, I gotta let you go. I was like, we're going to the hospital. I was like, you're probably gonna have to bail me out of jail, if possible. And Amber, I got off the phone. Amber's like, no, you're not going to jail. And I'm like, whatever. So we went to Iowa City Hospital, the university hospital, and I'm like, so what are we gonna tell them happened? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, I don't know, we'll think of something. So when we're getting out of the car, Amber gets out and it's really icy. And I'm like really timid. I'm like not even wanting to go in the hospital. I'm still wanting to run. I'm still wanting to just dip. And oh yeah, so she like comes up with it right away. It's really icy where she's standing. I'm like, and she's has the door open, and then she's like, I got it. I'm gonna save that. We're running to the car, hurrying to get in because we were cold. And I pulled the door open, and at the same time, I slipped on the ice, and the door came in, knocked my tooth out. And I'm like, okay. So that's what we said. And I shouldn't even be laughing at this stuff, but she did make it really funny. Like she made it this funny thing. So that night, like, because Amber is really funny. She's really funny at times. Like, in such a weird way. Like, in messed up way. But she's actually pretty funny. So we went in and they tried to they shoved the tooth back. We kept the tooth and they shoved the tooth back in as best they could, but it was still hanging down like here. It looked horrible, like horrible. So she took pictures though. Or Snapchats when she was in there, and she used like this hot dog filter, so she was a hot dog, but it just showed like her eyes, nose, and mouth. And like she did like this whole photo shoot of herself with like no tooth and then the snaggle tooth that they shoved back in there. And so she snapped all of her friends and stuff. And so we made it back we finally went back to our house in Muscatine. And we woke up to her friends at our bedside, like 3 or 4 of them. Betsy, Lindsay, who else was there? I don't know, but and then Amber's pride set in, and she wasn't gonna tell anybody. I think she was embarrassed that like I got the best of her, because that was her thing. She needed to be the powerful one in the whole situation, and like I said, she's an extreme narcissist. Extreme narcissist. She told her friends that it was the car door situation. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like waking up in bed, I'm like, yeah, that's what it was. I'm not saying anything, and I'm not looking at them. They know, they had to have known some of the stuff. But they weren't surprised, because Amber's crazy drunk that would always do stupid things. Like she tried to bust the end of a wine bottle open to drink it, and almost cut her thumb off. All right, a couple months before we got together, there's just story after story with her. So like it wasn't anything new to her friends, but yeah. So that was that. And you would think like she would have learned her lesson that she shouldn't mess with me. But no, it was mainly just a lesson learned for me that I can't hit people. Like, I mean, obviously. Like, there's this power inside me that when I hit someone, it's lethal. Like that's why I wouldn't even like UFC fight or box or anything like that, because I would kill my opponent. I would. There's this thing that unleashes inside me, and just it's supernatural power. So yeah, but mind you, that's the only time that I hit her. There was one other time that she was like hitting me, and I like swung at her just to get her away too, but I didn't hit her. But that's all that I ever did in that sense. There was times that she would be like, you know how many times I was down on my knees saying, Amber, please stop. I'm begging you to please stop. Our kids are upstairs. Everybody's freaking out. I'm sad. And she would just be over top of me, hammer fisting me in the head and stuff. All the time. That happened all the time. So, yeah. But, oh man, I was still trapped in my addictions and stuff, that it kept me like hanging on, because I didn't think I deserved any better. That was a major lie of the enemy. It made me think that I didn't deserve anything better than what I was going through. And I always said to like my family knew. Because ever since they first met her, the first night that they met her, me and Amber came completely wasted. Or me, Amber, and my mom came completely wasted. And on Xanax, all three of us. And I think a Memorial Day or Labor Day party, can't remember which one. Memorial Day, I think, at my brother's house. And this is the first time they met her. Amber kept saying like things about my brothers, how funny they are, and she's like, they're funnier than you. And I remember it pissed me off. So I like went over, and I was on Xanax, and so I went over and said something to Joel, Kayla's wife, or Joel's wife, Kayla, and I like spanked her butt just to piss off Amber, and because my brothers are just like I knew it didn't really piss off Joel, like in that way, because he knew it was messed up, and we were just like, our brothers' wives. Like, obviously, I was just trying to piss off Amber. But yeah, that night, she like, we went around the house then. We were in the backyard, and like, she ended up punching me in the lip and busted my lip open. That night was, I'm not even going to get into that story, but yeah, so, and then she left. And so my family never liked Amber. Because of that, they knew that she was violent and stuff like that. So, just story after story. I could tell you so many stories of just us getting in arguments and her resorting to violence. And yeah, I did, for the most part, except for that story I just told you. I would always, kiss out to one cheek, turn the other cheek, and just beg and plead. I thought that eventually she would break and just have compassion for the fact that I just wanted her to change and not be so evil. And I tried exercising her once. I put my hands on her and started praying in tongues once, and that actually shut it down. And, but through all the pain and agony and violence of it all, like, I forgot about that, how it worked. And I didn't really know the power I possessed. Like, to actually, like, rebuke her. And I didn't know enough. Like, if I knew everything I know now, she wouldn't have ever done that. But I'm happy I didn't, because then I finally got away from the situation, because I didn't want to be with her forever. And deep down, she always, she's like, I'm going to change this guy and make him my bitch, basically. But deep down within it all, I knew I was teaching her lessons. And I held on to that for a long time, because I wanted to be the one. Because that's basically with any girl before her even. I always wanted to be the one to just be like, ha! See, I am right. Jesus is real. He exists. And, but I didn't understand how much, like, love it required to truly, like, walk with Jesus inside you. Like, he was always right there, and he was always saving me in situations. I remember, with my son Cruz, which is, who I had with Amber, one night, I called Amber her mom's name because she was acting like her, because, like, that's apparently where she got all these ways of acting, because I could tell. And I called her mom's name, and that really pissed her off. And so, and I was just, like, sad in the situation. So I got down on my knees, and we had this, like, rocker thing for my son Cruz, and I was down on my knees right in front of him. And I was just holding his hands and praying with him. And Amber got so mad that I called her mom. She comes up with a remote. And, yep. And goes like, hey, Ozzy. Here's it. And, she comes up behind me as I'm praying with my son and goes boom on the top of my head. And it was crazy. That could have definitely killed me. Definitely, right in this house spot up here. And, but it was like God just put like this like protective covering right there. And it just like bounced off. I didn't even feel it. And Amber's like, like she thought she had just killed me. And I'm just like, what? Like I didn't even feel it. And that was like a time that, like every time. Because she would have beat me to a bloody pulp. If not, but God saved me every time. In every situation. But yeah, she did that right in front of our son. And she wants to claim to be some good, awesome mom. But she's not. And I'm sure it's showing. Once I left her, I'm sure, because all of her friends knew how good I was, knew that I was good for her. And all of her friends and all the people, associated with her son's baseball team, all the parents and stuff, they just they saw the light that shined inside me. Regardless. I'm sure they saw how sad I was too. But, and wondered why I was with her. But, eventually she had to live with, with me, she finally, everybody knew who she was. Like, I would meet people outside of being with her and that knew her, and they're like, oh my gosh, how are you with her? She's the craziest person I've ever met. She's psychopath. And I just didn't, see it. I saw the good in her. And I was pretty crazy, too. So it just, didn't really faze me. But, that's what was happening. And, I just want to say I'm not proud of anything that, I did in the situation, in that relationship. I'm really, upset with myself about it in a lot of ways. But, I stood my ground and, I tried to make it work. We got engaged and then, and I thought I had a family because I loved her kids too. And I thought I loved her, but really, come to find out, now I know I didn't. There's only one girl that I've truly ever loved, and I haven't even met her yet. Not ever loved, or do love, but, and I know it's gonna last forever. I know, I've been building this up forever, and you don't even need this is who God has set me up with, so I don't even need to question any of it. I know this is an arranged marriage by good God Almighty, so there's no doubt in my heart that it's going to be the most perfect thing for me. So I'm super excited about it. And, how lucky. Yes. And it's been prophesied for thousands of years. It's so cool. This whole thing, the whole situation is amazing. What? How does this happen? It's so cool. Oh yeah, we planned it before I came down. And let's see. So why she became my wife? That's a good question. Well, there was a time where we started to break up, and this was the summer of 2019. And there was one night. There's this guy that I could tell, because from the start I had asked if they had ever hooked up, and she said no, but there, like, you could tell that her and this guy whose son was also on her son's baseball team and stuff, like, that they had hooked up. I can't remember his name. Baldy, we'll call him, because he's bald. And what's his name? I can't remember. Who cares? Anyways, so she definitely cheated on me with him in that time where we were kind of breaking up. But her being such a good liar and me being so mixed up in the head with like what I wanted in life and what I needed and everything, she somehow, and I know she did, because she like quit answering, and she was hanging out with him one night, and she told me about it. But God showed me what truly happened there. But she was the type that would tell me about a situation, make it seem like she like had the chance to cheat on me with him, so she's like, yeah, he wanted me, kept asking me to like go to bed with him and stuff, and she kept saying all that, and then she's like, yep, but I refused, blah 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 type shit. And like, because she's such a good liar that and mainly with me, like, and then if I questioned her lies, she beat me up. So I would just be like, whatever. And I would just set them away, but hide them inside of me. And, but so I know they slept together, but, I kind of just like put that away inside me. I'm like, oh, whatever. And we started talking again. And then she started being really nice because, she probably felt bad deep down. And she started like, giving me gifts like a narcissist does. And started treating me really good. And she's such a good faker, such a good liar that, like, I thought it was genuine. And then we came up with this crazy idea that we were going to go down to St. Louis to see some Cubs-Cardinals games. And she liked the Cubs. I like the Cardinals. Like, what was I thinking? So she went and got this like white dress, kind of like a wedding dress, and she's like, I'm gonna pack this. I'm like, okay, cool. And then she came up with this plan, and it's funny, she always wanted to go, like when we talked about where we were gonna get married, she always wanted to go to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And I'm happy that we didn't, because I'm only gonna marry one girl here in Tennessee. And yeah, it's just so funny. It's so weird. that she always wanted to come down here for that. But we ended up going to St. Louis, and we got married right across the river in Illinois at Edwardsville while we were down there. And basically, I just did it to do it. Just like, there was no love left. And on the way there, like, I remember I was showing her all, like, NF's new album, his mixtape Clouds, I think, had just come out. And we were listening to that and his album before and everything, and just like, I was really loving that. And she was like acting like she was into it. So like, she always like wanted to know the Bible. She wanted to know more. She wanted a good Christian guy, and that's why she tried to, and eventually did tie the very untiable knot with me. But she basically talked me into it. And I'm gonna be honest, what she talked me into marrying her, and she's like, and then you can and why she's talking me into it still baffles me. I know that I need to get a paternity test for Cruz, because she was pregnant by that time. We didn't know quite yet, but I think she did. She definitely did. And I think she got pregnant. She may have got pregnant by, what's his name? The guy she cheated on me with. Because Cruz really, he looks like me kind of, but he looks a lot like Ty and Lainey, her kids. They oddly have a look to them like they could almost be like my kids in a way. And Cruz looks a lot like Lainey. But yeah, we're gonna get that paternity test. And regardless, I still love Cruz. I'll adopt him still. I still love the kid, even if he's not mine. I still love him. He's a baby boy who was a part of my life. And I may be his father. I'm not sure. That's up in the air. It really is, just because of what she did around the time she did, and how similar her kids actually look in comparison to what my kids look like and stuff. It's kind of weird. So, but we'll see. And yeah. So we went down there, we got married. Cardinals swept the Cubs in the series. So I was happy most of the time down there. I didn't really care what else happened. And so we came back, and I remember we stopped by my mom's, and Amber just wanted us to stop there and me show my mom, because she just wanted my mom to know, and I did. And I showed my mom that we got married, and my mom lost it. She was so sad. And yeah. So anyways, that was August of 2019. And it lasted about a year. Until the next year, when Amber had convinced me that I have to get a vasectomy. And I kept going in for meetings with the doctor to talk about it, and then I would skip out the day of, because it just felt wrong. And then finally she talked me into it, which is no worries, because it's very reversible, and I've been praying myself, and I believe God has connected my vas deferens supernaturally already. So there's nothing to worry about for, you, my future wife, and us having kids, like it's very high possibility. I need to go like check my sperm count or whatever. When the time is right. But right now, that doesn't even matter. I really think that they're reconnected anyways. And the reason I ended up getting it is because I had a hernia, which was like, it was like right here. And so when they went to go fix the hernia, I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna have them do the vasectomy at the same time. Because they're already down in there anyways. So I did it, and I remember when I woke up from that, that was the worst pain. I've been beat up, clearly. I've been jumped, I've been literally like beat bad a lot in my life. A lot. Oh my gosh. But nothing hurt worse than when I woke up from that hernia and vasectomy operation. Oh my gosh. That hurt so bad. And I had I remember, and I was in so much pain. I was like, I need more pain meds when I was in there. And they gave me so much in that doctor's office that they had to like watch my breathing, make sure I stayed breathing because I was so in so much pain in that. So they give me like painkillers and stuff. And I remember about 2 days in after the operation, Amber decided she was going to take my painkillers from me because she wanted some, and she needed to control them. I'm like, dude, I'm in extreme pain. Shut the F up and give me my pills. She wouldn't. She took them. That was her fight. Every month, that was the biggest fight, was her taking my prescription of Adderall and everything. And I can't believe how immature I was about all that. I'm so glad I'm finally free of it. I don't need any of that shit. So awesome. But so then November, or it was actually October still. And my sister, thank God for my sister, she bailed me out in the sense that she had called me the week before and she's like, David, do you want to go to Florida and help me drive a Penske truck down there and help me move this furniture from Iowa City down to Fort Lauderdale? I'm like, absolutely. Yes. And I remember she called right in front of Amber, and we were just talking about how we have no money and stuff. And Crystal's like, yeah, it's going to pay really good. She's like, it'll be $20 an hour from the moment you leave to the moment you touch down back at home. Blah, blah, blah. So it'll be awesome. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. So, that was that, and we ended up driving a Penske truck, me and another guy from her work, down there. But not before I ended up packing as much stuff as I can and left Amber. Because when she took my painkillers away from me and I was in that much pain for something that she made me do, gosh, this is all really embarrassing. I can't believe I was just such a slave to her. Disgusting. But it is what it is. Gotta tell the truth. Hopefully there's people that can relate and, yeah. So excuse me. But yeah, so, I ended up leaving her in October, and then I moved up, and I believe that I stayed with my sister at her house, and we went to Fort Lauderdale once, and that was so awesome. Like being in that hell in Muscatine with Amber for what, like almost 3 years, 3 years, and being such under her complete supervision, basically. Um, which wasn't a supervision; it was a very hellish and grim and nasty vision of what life is all about. But and then getting to go to Fort Lauderdale and just the beach and everything. Oh my goodness gracious. I felt so good and so right. And it was amazing. It was super amazing to get to go. So thank you so much, Crystal. I love you so much. Like I do anyways, but that really like that was amazing. And we like stayed in 5-star hotels. We had our own suites. I had my own junior suite at the Conrad up on the 20th floor, and my balcony to the right, you saw it was all of Fort Lauderdale and all the way down to Miami. You could see all the way. And then to the left was an ocean view. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Um, yeah, that was really nice. And then I got to go down a second time with them. Like, I mean, I was eating like $70 ribeye steaks and everything. It was so nice. It was so nice. So then, I came back and I by the second time we went, I had an apartment in Coralville, Iowa, up in the Iowa City area. It's Iowa City, Coralville, and North Liberty, and it's kind of in the hooded area. It was the cheapest one I could find, um, and it was right next to Life Church. And Life Church is the church that Chi Alpha was associated, the place that I got baptized, and it was right there. God placed me right by the church. So it was awesome. And the first week, then I got my kids, Cash and Alina, and because the first year after me and Allie had we had a year that we had to follow the rules that the court had set up for us for time with the kids. And then we just followed that same outline after that for a year and a half. And it worked. And we didn't and it just worked. And then I moved up to Iowa City. And one thing Amber always told me that is if I left her, that she was going to make sure that I didn't see any of my kids ever again. And so I had my kids twice at my new apartment in Coralville. First time was awesome. And we would go, and I don't think I quite had the apartment the first time actually. The first time after I left Amber, we stayed at Corey and Crystal's house, my sister and her husband, and they were a really nice big house, and just like the room, and they were gracious enough to let us stay there, and we stayed there, and then by the second time I had an apartment, and that was really nice. To have an apartment. I had Um, I had some bunk bed. It was a 2 bedroom. I had bunk beds for them in one room, and then room for me. And that week, I remember I brought them to church. The kids went to children's church at Life. I went into the main church, and you know what? It just seemed like everything was gonna go right. But just as he had done with me as a younger child, the enemy started working in his ways, doing whatever he can, and did not want my kids. That was the first time my kids had been in a really good, like my kids had so back in Muscatine, we actually went to church at Adventure Christian Community Church in Muscatine. And we would go, but it was always a fight between me and Amber. She hated the worship at the beginning. Go figure. Um, you know, that's the enemy trying to keep me out of the worship. That's crazy. And so she'd always have to, get ready, look right, make sure that she had her cigarettes smoked and stuff for the morning. So we were always late. So that was always an argument. But we did go to church. And I remember the best day was when I brought the 3 younger kids, Cash, Alina, and Lainey, to church. And with just me. And oh my gosh, I praise God, I praise God, I praise God. The kids went into the Sunday school and they had fun. And then after, we cranked up, I think it was K-Love or something. And we were outside the car having a dance party for like 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And all the other kids that walked out of the church and all the parents, they were just like in awe, like looking at us because we're killing it, man. We're having so much fun. And yeah, but that was like the best time I went to church. I remember I broke down a couple times. I was so sad about my situation in Muscatine. I would break down and like I lost it in the middle of the service. Like I'm in worship, I'm bawling my eyes out, face in the ground. And I've been doing that for 5 years. Ever since I got baptized, I've been face down, bawling my eyes out, just asking God to save me. Yet I had to take steps to be saved, and it wasn't in his plan yet. And I've always just trusted God's plan with me. I've always had this thing inside me that told me that one day God is going to redeem me, and he's going to set me on high, and he's going to honor me, in the church, throughout the church, and throughout his people. He's going to. And I've always had this thing, like I've had so many crappy birthdays. I've been ran over once by Amber and once by Allie on my birthday, hit by their cars. Well, my foot ran over by Allie, dragged, hit by Amber. On my birthday. And I've just always known that there was deep inside me, I've just like known that there's a day coming that God was gonna throw a surprise party for me. I just know it's coming. One of these days, it's just gonna be like, boom, there's gonna be a feast. And it's gonna be to honor me for all the work I've done in his kingdom. Not that, I expect it, but I just know someday he's gonna hook me up. He's gonna show me that he has loved me. And he's going to do it through other people. He shows me all the time in our connection, just me and him, but it's all coming together. So, anyways, so then back to Coralville, me and the kids went to go to church, and they loved it. They loved the Sunday school there. And, and I just loved that day very much. I remember it was a really good day, and I was just so happy. I'm like, yes, because I had felt like I didn't spend any quality time with my kids. That's what it felt like in Muscatine with Amber. I never really got to spend quality time with her because she was always like, like there's always something that needs to be done. And half the time I'm taking care of her dogs, freaking Belle and Bruno or whatever. And I can't remember their names, but I cleaned up so much of their poop that I don't really care to remember. Like, and they were her dogs that she got with the guy before me. So I was not a huge fan of them. I do love the dogs. I kind of miss them now. Like I would give them a big hug if I saw them right now. Those dogs, they're good dogs. They just like two big full size dogs are hard to take care of, especially when they're like a gift from your girlfriend's ex. Like you're just like, you know what I mean? But I don't know, where am I going? So yeah, so back to church that day. Like it's really good and I loved it. And I decided the kids didn't have school yet. Or maybe they did. No. Yeah. Yeah, they did. But it was just Cash. I think Alina was still in. Yeah, Alina was still in preschool. Um. So I decided I was gonna keep them a couple days longer. And Allie was freaking out because she's like, "You need to drive to Davenport," because that in the official order from the judge was that we needed to that I had to always meet in Davenport, so it wasn't completely even and fair, but I didn't want to take them back all the way to Davenport, and so I was like, if I have to take them back, and this was after the order that we had, I was like, I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna have them stay for a day or two more. I was just enjoying my time with them more, and turns out that would be a mistake because that's the last time I saw my kids. Was back in. Well, I was getting them a couple weekends each time. Like I had got them for a couple weeks then after that, and then so it wasn't that weekend, but then it was like up into February or March of 21 that I went and we had that argument, and I didn't bring my kids back. Me and Allie did, and I didn't bring them back all the way to Davenport, and we ended up meeting up, and she took them, changed her number. I didn't hear from her. She ended up moving right around then, and yeah, that's the last time I've seen my kids, Cash and Alina. So, and then there's Cruz with Amber. It's up in the air whether he's mine or not. I want him to be mine. I love him. I do. I believe that he's mine, but I know that the scandals that happened within the time frame that they did with Amber and what's his face, Baldy, make it to where he might not be. Who knows? And one thing I found out about Amber throughout us dating was she had an ex-husband, Will. He was like almost paralyzed, could barely walk. Me and him we were at a baseball tournament, and this was like a couple months before he died. And that's kind of why I married Amber too, was because I felt bad for Lainey. She had just lost her dad. But a month, I think it was a month before Will died, that uh, me and him were talking at a baseball game of Ty's, and we were talking about Ty because Ty's really good at baseball. Ty is extremely good, and at all sports, like very good. And we were talking about him, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I wonder if he's gonna get as big as Brad. And Will tells me, he's like, well, that's not his actual dad. I'm like, what? And yeah, so Amber's ex-husband told me that Brad wasn't his actual dad, that Ty's actual dad was this Hungarian dude from Colorado. Some some other story that I had no idea about. So I called Amber out about that, and then she turned it around on me and like gaslighted the shit out of me. And about it, and like turned it around on me and made it like this big thing. So that happened in the midst too of everything. And that's like right um it's right before we got married. But so that just should show you like how much I really didn't care. I just like was looking at everything else, and I thought, I wasn't looking at the big picture. I was trying to, but I was just thinking about my kids. We have a house. We have everything we need right now. And I had a good job by then. Um and yeah, Will told me about that. And so yeah, Ty, sorry, Brad's not your real dad. I don't know if she's ever actually finally told you that, but he's not. Um, and one day I'm gonna get that message to you because I love you, bro, and you deserve to know the truth. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. Who does that? Who lies to their kid about who their real parent is? That's ridiculous. Like, you need to come clean, Amber, and tell him. Otherwise, he's gonna find out. He's gonna find out. And then it's gonna drive a stake in between you two. But if you just tell him and tell him, your explanation without lying, and you just come clean and ask him for forgiveness, then I think that would be your best bet, because the kid deserves to know the truth. Same with you, Brad. I would think you would have told him by now. Whatever. It's out of my hands now. I just did what I could for it. So anyways, what happened with the reason my kids, that was the last time that I saw my kids, is because Amber started talking with Allie and started planting things in her head, saying David's gonna take those kids and never give them back. Because that's what Amber would always talk about. We need to get your kids away from her all the time. So then she flipped it to that. I never had any plans of taking my kids away from their mom, because I'm not like that. Why would I do that? Why would I take my kids away from their own mother? That it's their mom. No matter how messed up she is, why would I do that? Now, I'm probably gonna. But not completely. My kids still love you. They're gonna love you. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to get better, and you're still gonna get to see your kids. Unlike what you've done to me, both of you, Amber, Allie, you're still gonna get the opportunity to see your kids. It's gonna kill you that I'm in charge of the whole situation, but it doesn't matter. Just what's gonna happen. So, so whatever, Amber, I always like to say that Amber and Allie became butt buddies, and just because it makes me feel better about the situation, just calling them butt buddies, because I think it's funny. I don't know why. Amber and Allie became butt buddies, started talking, and they took my kids away from you. So, that was that. And this is going to conclude part 8 because I have things that I would like to go do today. Oh, shoot. And I'm going to go do them. So I'm going to go get on that, and then we'll come back and start talking about all the real good stuff, all the fun stuff, everything that happened that was fun. And there was a lot of it that wasn't fun. It was kind of crazy. And, you know, it's been a series of complete highs and lows of all sorts. But, you know, I get to talk about you, babe. And I get to talk about just the body of Christ and love and everything that got me to where I am standing here today as a clean, sober steward of the Most High. So, hey, get excited, get ready. It's going to be a blast talking about it, hearing about it. So, yeah, it's coming here probably by tonight. But for now, peace out. Love ya.